Hello and welcome back to part 2 of investigating enzyme developers. In the last video, we discussed what are they, what's in them, can we even find ingredients, and so far I haven't been able to find a list of, but I was able to test the volume, the amount of available oxygen in these developers. People have commented that only the higher volumes of trionics have peroxide in them, but I assure you this actually has peroxide in it. This is the 20, and you will see that in the previous video when we catalyzed it and were able to measure the amount of oxygen that this gave off. So in the last video, we determined that both the trionics cream developer and the ProLift, both sold as enzyme developers, though they're labeled with the number 20, measure closer to a 30 volume based on the amount of oxygen available. That was curious to me, but in this second video, I want to investigate how they work. Are they more effective? What's the difference between them and a traditional developer? So I can make an informed decision as to whether or not this is something that I would really want to use in the salon. So you can see my test board here, and let me tell you what I did. I did 2 test batches, one for depositing for gray coverage and one for lifting. I may end up redoing the lifting one because the level of the product I used didn't give me a ton of lift. I should have used something a little more dramatic. But for now, I'll show you what I got. So the first batch, I used some naturally gray hair. This is actually from my mother-in-law. I made it into swatches and covered with a Wella 66/02. 6 is Wella's level 6, and the stroke 02 just indicates what tones are in them. Pretty much universally with the numbering system, 0 usually means a neutral, and the secondary tone is green, which is matte. Honestly, it's just one that I had. So I took that Wella color and I mixed it up with the Trionics 20. I mixed it up with the ProLift 20. And then I mixed it up with the Wella 20 and then 30 and processed 2 swatches per formula. One under heat for 20 minutes. The second without heat for 30 minutes, just according to manufacturer's directions. So that means I had a Trionics one processed with and without heat, ProLift with and without heat, 20 volume with and without heat, and then 30 volume, which has the same amount of oxygen as these, with and without heat, so I could compare the different results from those 8 different swatches. And as if that wasn't enough, I did it with a second batch of hair with Matrix's 6 Neutral Jade, which is actually a really, really similar tone. However, I did it on some what could be described as level 5 medium brown hair. So I took those swatches and once again mixed up with the Trionics, the ProLift, 20 volume and 30 volume, and processed each of those formulas both under heat for 20 minutes and without heat for 30 minutes. So now I get to see if the heat makes a difference with the enzyme developers or not, or if I get the same results with heat or not heat with just the regular developers that the manufacturer recommends with the colors. Whew, that's a lot. So here we go. Now, as I look at these, I do feel like the Trionics and the ProLift, both with the heat applied, did take darker than their counterpart, even though it was processed for 10 minutes longer. Some of that is really subtle and can be attributed just to the density of the swatch, but I think I'll give those developers the benefit of the doubt and say maybe they did deposit a little bit deeper on that gray hair. Now, when I look at the 20 volume with heat and without heat, I do feel like both of the samples that were subjected to heat did take a little bit darker. So what I could conclude with this is no matter what my formula with gray coverage, applying heat did accelerate the process a little bit, with or without the enzyme developer. Let me know what you think. Now, when we look at the lifting samples that were lifted with the Matrix 6 Neutral Jade, you can see why I'm kind of disappointed with the results because I feel like they all took extremely similar. If anything, the 30 volume under heat probably took the lightest, and that was our goal, was to lift with this. But I think I made the mistake in picking a cool formula. It's harder to see evidence of lift when you have a cool formula, because cool colors reflect darker. It looks like I really didn't do anything to the hair. Now when it comes to feel of these particular samples, because many people say that the Enzyme developers leave the hair feeling awesome. Now I'm not trying to be contrarian. I just want us to think critically about the products that we're using and the stories that we're told about them. Cosmetic chemists have gotten really good at formulating color, and I have to say that all of these samples feel awesome. Hair should feel great after coloring it with permanent color. If your hair does not feel great, then maybe something was missed along the line, or maybe your hair wasn't in a condition to accept color. But honestly, I can't feel any difference between any of these samples. I wish I could say that one felt better than another. They all feel exactly the same to me. I'm not feeling any difference in the condition of the hair, whether it was used under heat or not, or no matter what developer was used. Let me know if I should try any of these Enzyme developers with lightener as well. I might do it, I just need to see if somebody else is interested too. Whether we're depositing or trying to lift or using Trionyx 20, which measured like a 30 volume, ProLift 20, which measured like a 30 volume, 20 volume, or 30 volume, really no discernible difference between any of my swatches in the way that they feel or the outcome of the way they looked, whether I use heat or not. I would still personally love to understand more about Enzyme developers and what their actual claims are, but so far I'm still skeptical. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you saw and you want to see some more, go ahead and check out some of my other videos. Feel free to share with any of your nerdy friends. Click the subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Let me know what else you want to hear about. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.